Hey Mindset community, Dr. Ellen here, coming to you today with your next Tire Talk. All right, we're continuing the concussion series. This is now video number 2. So concussions, as we spoke about before, are more of a functional disturbance to the tissue rather than a structural implication to the tissue. So now the changes that do happen are on the micro level, making them very hard to detect on imaging. And so this is one of the main reasons why after a concussion has occurred and further brain injury has been ruled out, this is why imaging is typically not recommended. This can be really hard for parents though when you're kind of freaking out about what happened to your kid. So therefore we want to provide you with this education because there's nothing better than reducing fear and anxiety in this situation than education. So if this happens to someone you love or your kiddo, just know that it is pretty normal to not undergo imaging once all of the red flags have been ruled out. The next thing that I hear from the majority of people that they're concerned about is the amount of rest. So many years ago, we used to believe that you needed a significant amount of rest, almost until symptoms were gone, in order to begin stressing and demanding onto these tissues, but that's not actually been the case. Research now recommends 24 to 48 hours of rest and then beginning gradual exposure into certain sensory situations. So if you have more of an ocular concussion, we may have to modify the environment, but we do want you to be exposed to some ocular challenges. So this is really important to understand, and this is something where a skilled physical therapist can help you, is that we determine your trajectory based on your outcome measures and your subjective measures. It's not just only based on how you feel, it's how your body is performing. And that leads to a custom performance-based program based on your needs and the type of concussion you had. So we don't have to wake kids at night anymore to determine if they're still breathing. I even had a family ask me, do I put like a mirror underneath their nose to see if they're still breathing? And I said, nope, you don't have to do that anymore. So now it's more so trying to accelerate and promote an optimal recovery rate that matches your physiology. So basically, we don't want to progress you or create a huge demand if your supply is only down here. Right? Because that discrepancy between the demand and the supply can yield an inflammatory or defensive response in the tissues. We want to have the demand be just above the supply to create growth and trigger growth as much as possible, but we want to avoid this major discrepancy. So that can be where a physical therapist like myself who has extensive background in this can be really, really helpful. The other things that we do with regards to the recovery after the fact to look at that difference between supply and demand is we also assess nutrition, hydration, and many, many other inflammatory factors, because the amazing connection and integration between all the systems in our body is pretty much unprecedented. And the more we learn about the connections and integrations, the more we realize how those other systems can actually facilitate improving health and speed of recovery with regards to concussions. And so there's quite a bit of buzz right now about the brain-gut connection. And so when you come in to see us, we talk about what are you putting in your body, especially during these initial phases of recovery, because if it's Mountain Dew, that's probably not that helpful. But we can also talk about some other inflammatory-based things to try to optimize your healing and speed your recovery. So I hope this was helpful. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We love you more than you know. This is what we're here for. So have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time.